is Gamora? Yeah, I'll do you one better. Who is Gamora? I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora? Welcome to the Pixel Pop Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Toby. This fortnight, I'm joined by the delectable Ethan.
Ooh, hello.
And the well-seasoned, extra spicy Lynn.
Ooh, I'm spicy.
Very spicy. Very spicy. Thank you for joining us for this special podcast too. We're going to be going through our normal news. There's a lot of it to get through, but we're pretty excited, so we're going to get through that quickly before we dive into Infinity War. We'll do a recap, just a quick one on spoiler-free thoughts, what we thought of the film, and then we're going to do sort of a lengthy scene-by-scene, go through it, have some discussion, share some thoughts, some tinfoil hat theories, no doubt, and yeah, it should be good. But before we get into that, let's start with the news. Please take us away, Ethan.
First bit of news we had was Marvel Studios has said that Nova character, a movie based on him, has immediate potential at Marvel Studios. Now, I'm guessing that the best way to introduce him would be in Guardians 3. I'll talk about why when we go into the Infinity War discussion, because that's probably going to lead into it.
Yes.
But it's they obviously he's on their radar to make a movie on him.
Yes. Yeah, we can't say too much really without spoilers for those that haven't seen Infinity War.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a reason for that now.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel could probably do some groundwork for Nova as well. Probably not introduce the character itself because it's set in the 90s, but, lay some groundwork considering the conflict in Captain Marvel's going to be between Kree and Skrulls.
I mean, it's possible that Nova's been around since the 90s. He could still be.
Yeah,
that's true.
I think in the same breath too, didn't Marvel say that they were also seriously considering Moon Knight, which is something I know a lot of people have been looking forward to.
Couple bit of news down the track. I was going to get to that.
I'm sorry.
Have a thought now.
Yeah, it was just
Moon Knight and then Eternals movie as well.
Yeah. Oh boy, Eternals is really taking it like to the fourth gear, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Marvel said that they want to. I think with Phase 4, a lot of it's going to be cosmic. So
yeah, it's going to have to be. I guess the power creep.
Yeah.
I always thought Moon Knight would make a better TV show than a movie.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah.
We've been saying it for ages. That
he would definitely fit in better with like the Netflix stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Next, we have the Venom trailer, proper trailer, not a teaser trailer, but a proper trailer. And I am loving the look of Venom. 100%
really?
Love.
I think Lynn and I actually have a very different opinion to you because we were talking about this on Facebook and how. It looked, well, I think you said it was, he looked too textured, didn't you, Lynn? Was that your words?
Yeah, I just thought he's a little bit, like, his skin is a little bit over-designed. I think his skin is a lot over-designed. I'm trying to be diplomatic. I didn't like his look at all.
Yeah.
I mean, like that if you think it's maybe too textured, that could be because generally Venom attaches himself to Spider-Man first, so sort of like his appearance after that takes a somewhat resemblance to Spider-Man and how he looks as a suit on someone. And considering he's not going from Spider-Man, he's just going straight onto Eddie, that could be why it's more textured than what it is.
Is he though? Is he? Do we know that for certain? Because isn't there supposed to be a cameo from Peter Parker?
It's supposed to be just Peter Parker, not Spider-Man.
Sure, but I mean, if Venom raps on Peter and then goes maybe not, and then he fights it off, and then Venom slinks off.
Oh well, maybe.
Mate. Like I'm just saying, like we don't know for certain.
The thing is, like, Spider-Man's New York hero, whereas this takes place in San Francisco, other side of America.
Yeah, true.
So it's going to be a bit of a stretch to actually have either.
Yeah, I've got to say that honestly. I mean, I watched that
Parker
trailer and I was a bit concerned. I mean, I like Hardy for the most part, but the acting felt a little. I don't know what the word is, but I don't know, forced perhaps. Not disingenuous. It just didn't grab me. And then the special effect. Look, Venom's one of those things. It's sort of like when they went to do Gollum at Lord of the Rings. Like if you didn't get it perfect, it was just going to be shit. Venom's one of those difficult characters where it's really difficult to get it perfect. And look, at the end of the day too, I'm not going to pass judgment. It's a trailer. It could be early CG that we're seeing, like it might not be locked down.
Yeah, it's totally possible. I mean, the movie comes out in October, so we still got 5 months to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'll wait and see. I'm still going to see it, of course, but my apprehension meter is not like I'm not full. Oh my god, for this. That trailer actually made me backpedal a little.
I liked some parts of it. I liked the We Are Venom part. I think that was a good payoff. So good that I wish they would have saved it for the movie. But how Venom looks like in that trailer is how I imagine Carnage looking like, not Venom.
Oh, that's fair, yeah.
Alright, well, let's move on because we've got so much Infinity War to talk about.
Yeah, that's true. Next we've got Sam Rockwell has drawn Taika Waititi and Scarlett Johansson and Jojo Rabbit.
This is the Hitler thing, isn't it?
Yep. With Taika Waititi plays.
This is just getting crazier and crazier. It's got my interest. We haven't had a trailer yet, have we?
No, I don't even think it started filming it. They're still just casting and producing it.
Sam Rockwell
will play a Nazi captain who runs a Hitler youth camp.
Right.
Yeah. Straight off his Oscar when he's going into this.
Now, it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to a trailer at least.
Yeah. Next we have the Russo brothers who said they want to keep working with Marvel after Avengers 4. And with it, they're excited to see about the Fox and Disney merger. So it could be that they want to do something with one of those properties. Kind of hoping it's going to be Fantastic Four. They could do that while balancing out all the cast.
Yeah, I mean, Fantastic Four is kind of like Avengers out of the gate because you've already got 4 team members.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not doing 4 origin stories, it's just one origin. So, yeah, that could be interesting.
Let them make Doctor Doom.
Well, yeah, we've got a separate Doom movie first, though, I think, don't we?
Yeah, and they said that even with the Fox merger, that's still going ahead as far as the guy who's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can say that all they want. I'll believe it when they start shooting.
Yeah.
Next we have Paramount has confirmed a true Cloverfield sequel is in the works and it is coming soon.
So this is an actual...
excited.
Yeah, I imagine it would. This is a proper follow-up to the original film then. You're the Cloverfieldian. Did they actually die at the end of that film and the bridge collapsed?
I imagine they did.
Yeah, I imagine they did. I don't know.
Because there's tinfoil hat stuff. Because apparently there was like a post-credit or something that was deleted
there's a little
or
clip
whatever.
at the end that it was like a distorted voice, but if you reversed it, it says it's still alive. Talking about the monster. Because at the end of the movie, spoilers for those who haven't seen it, at the end of the Cloverfield movie, they bomb New York to try and kill the monster. And that's when the bridge collapses on the 2 people. So when the credits roll and you hear this little clip, you reverse it and it says it's like an army guy sort of saying it's still alive.
Yeah, it wasn't one of the cast. It was
a
army.
Yeah, because I mean, I suppose then all of the cast is dead then, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
All right.
So it'll probably just be the monster going around on a rampage. But it was at CinemaCon, and J.J. Abrams said that a sequel is coming very soon to theaters. A true, dedicated Cloverfield sequel.
All right, so what's the hypermeter on that, Ethan?
That's something about it's hard to get hyped for anything when I've still got like Avengers 4 to come out. So at the moment it's taking a back seat to like about a 7.
Right.
But now I say once Avengers is out, then it's going to skyrocket.
Right.
At the same CinemaCon, J.J. Abrams said that Overlord, the suspected next Cloverfield movie, is not a Cloverfield movie.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
This Cloverfield stuff. This could be a movie, might not be a movie, should be a movie, probably won't be a movie, might be... It's almost like it's being done by DC. It's a part of the universe, but it's not, right?
Don't drag DC into this. Let's have a DC-free podcast, please. For once.
Alright, cool. So lots of Cloverfield stuff happening soon.
Yep. J.J. Abrams said that Overlord is Bad Robot's first R-rated movie as well.
I think it's going to be about demons, right?
Yeah, it's not necessarily demons. It's just all we know is that it's set during World War II on D-Day. The Nazis are experimenting with some supernatural stuff, and that's all we know. It could be zombies, could be demons. We don't know. Next, we have 20th Century Fox has announced they're doing a Choose Your Own Adventure movie.
Yeah, this is interesting. This is probably more my thing. I think I posted that one, didn't I?
I think you did, yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, I collect game adventure books, have done for years, and what was neat about this, though, is, I mean, we've seen this crap before in terms of, like, DVD adventures where, you push up on your remote and Barbie will go there. We've done that, right? But this is actually designed to be played in a cinema, and you're using an app on your phone, and the audience votes, and the majority dictates what happens next.
Oh, I thought maybe this might have been like a Netflix one. Like it's coming on Netflix.
This is designed for cinemas. As someone mentioned, though, it'd kind of suck if you go to see it a second time and the audience votes for the same thing again.
Yeah, I suppose. But like a bunch of people in the cinema like just trolling it.
I just think it was neat because we did a podcast not long ago where, if you recall, we were talking about the evolution of movies at the cinema and what might happen.
The future movies.
This was something I never really thought of, being an interactive experience.
They tried this in the 90s before, and remember the Clue movie as well also had like 6 different endings depending on the cinema chain you went to.
Yeah. So, but this will be interesting. So I guess, I can't see it being huge. It's probably going to be very selected, but I'd definitely keen to go check it. Yeah, I'm cautious, but I'll definitely go check it out. Yeah, interesting.
Next, we have supposedly revealed Avengers 4 title. Spoiler alert. Avengers Endgame.
Yeah,
we're not 100% yet, but this is the heavily. I've heard this. You posted it, and I've heard this from different other sources as well.
So it was a chap who apparently claimed to have reliable insider source. Has said that he had the title revealed. If you look at what we've heard before, in that like the Russo brothers saying people are going to be disappointed, like it's not going to live up to hype, I guess that kind of fits that bill. Secondly, there's a line in the movie, and this is not a huge spoiler, but Doctor Strange mentions the end game.
He says we're in the end game now.
So
there was a line in Age of Ultron as well where Stark goes, up there is the end game.
Yeah, so it could tie together. It could. It's I'm going to file it under plausible, but not 100% confirmed yet.
Well, this could also go with the fact that Kevin Feige has said that withholding the title for Avengers 4 has backfired on them, and he feels like the anticipation for it is more than what it deserves. Yeah,
exactly.
So this could be it.
Anyway,
I don't think it really matters what they call this, to be honest. They can call this Infinity War 2 Electric Boogaloo and it will still make 1.5 billion easy.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's another bit here that I didn't put in, but this, it's DC news, but I'll put it anyway because it's somewhat interesting. DC has like a new online streaming thing coming out.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's called DC Universe, and I know that this is in development already. It's already been filmed, and that is the live-action Titans series, like Teen Titans. They're doing that. They've also announced a Swamp Thing live-action TV show to go on. Oh, actually, I'm not sure if it's live-action. I know it's a Swamp Thing TV show is coming to it. You have Young Justice Outsiders, which I think is the last season of Young Justice animated series. And it also has DC Harley Quinn here. Now, I don't know about that. Not much has been said. This is just what they've announced is coming to their streaming platform. All right,
that's interesting. To be fair, though, I think we'll all agree that DC's TV series stuff tends to be a lot better than their movies of late. So it's probably not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, that's true. Their TV shows are pretty decent. It's got James Wan, who's doing Aquaman. He's behind the Swamp Thing TV show.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a score.
Yeah. I'm just having a look at a bit more.
I wonder if he'll make it a little bit spookier then.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Something.
Okay, the Harley Quinn one. Yeah, the Harley Quinn is a 26-episode animated Harley Quinn series.
All right,
that's what that is. And the Swamp Thing will be a 1-hour drama TV show.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh. All right, moving on. We got the next proper trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh boy!
Now, this looks good. I like Ant-Man. I like Wasp. I'm looking forward to this. It's a bit of a calmer movie to come down from for Infinity War.
Yeah.
But I feel like general audiences who know about the whole, MCU, it may be a bit confusing for them though.
Yeah, I mentioned this last podcast how we'd set the bar so high with Infinity War that I was worried for Ant-Man and Marvel because it was sort of a drop, so to speak. But I think it'll still do well. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be a Black Panther / Infinity War kind of box office breaker. But I think it'll still do pretty well. And to be fair, we probably need a bit of a laugh after coming out of Infinity War, and this seems to be packed with humor. So
I think the first Ant-Man did well enough that people will go watch this, and the fact that it's coming out after Infinity War couldn't hurt.
No, I suppose it probably won't hurt it. I just feel like it may be a letdown for people, story-wise and like scale size of the movie.
Sure, but you can say that about every single MCU movie after this, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. But I mean, like,
And a lot of people are going to want to know how it fits in as well. Like, we're all going to be like enjoying the film, but as it draws to the end of the film, we're all going to be expecting certain things to happen, or at least something to happen. So, you know, even if you weren't a huge Ant-Man fan to begin with, if you're an Infinity War fan, I think you're still going to be looking for that hook in with this film. Certainly with Captain Marvel. Like, yeah.
moving along.
It was a
we
good trailer,
finally
though.
Yeah. We've got a release date for Stephen King's Castle Rock, and that is July 25th.
Yeah, really keen to see that. I mean, I know it's Hulu
Really-
only, so we're going to have to go through... Us Australians will have to go through interesting and alternative means, but I'm really keen to see this.
There's an international distributor yet, which I'm not sure of.
It'd be great if it came out on a streaming service or whatever have you that was actually obtainable here in Australia, or if they even maybe they sell the episodes through iTunes or something. Like I'm not fussed.
Ryan Reynolds has confirmed T.J. Miller is not in the X-Force movie, and he has also said that he doesn't think they're going to do a third Deadpool movie either.
Yeah,
Well-
that makes sense. I mean, if you're gonna springboard into X-Force, you could easily have Deadpool crop up in a number of other places. And if the Fox deal does go through, and we do see the mutants come on board, then you know.
Well, I mean, Deadpool is going to be in the X-Force movie, but he just thinks that going from Deadpool 1 to 2, that the only way you can make a Deadpool 3 is to pretty much just take everything away from Deadpool and just have it him and be like a real small sort of movie. But he doesn't sound like he really wants to do that. I think he's just happy for Deadpool to move into the X-Force after this.
To be fair, I mean, it's probably going to come back down to Fox, you know.
Yeah,
And
that's, yeah.
we want to
But he
make
does
more
produce
money,
it, though.
and if he's signed a contract, then he won't get
Yeah.
much say. But I mean, having said that, I could easily see an X-Force film, and then much like Iron Man 3, where you've had the big battle, and then it's the recovery,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it could be
the
easy,
rebuild. So you could do something like that, perhaps.
If the sale goes through, I want him showing up in the Spider-Man movie.
I think everyone wants that.
I want Kingpin in a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Well,
but
yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio wants that too.
Until Palmata retires, that's not happening.
But I mean, we know that Josh Brolin, I think he signed on for 3 or 4 movies, which includes Deadpool and the X-Force movie. Ryan Reynolds signed on for several. Zazie Beetz, who will be debuting as Domino, she said that she's going to be in the X-Force movie as well when that comes out.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're done with the news.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the news. Let's dive into Infinity War. We're going to do spoiler free. So if you're one of the 2 people on Earth who haven't seen it yet, that's cool. Stick around for our spoiler free thoughts, and then after that, we're going to go and break it down scene by scene. But spoiler free, in summary, what did you think, Ethan?
Well, I've seen it 3 times now, so I think the first time I watched it, I was kind of overwhelmed with it, and I said in our little clip that I gave it a 10 out of 10. I think now I'll retract it to about a 9.5 out of 10 after seeing it 3 times.
Okay.
There's just a few things that the pacing,
Yeah.
as you said at the start, everything just seems to go full on, and it doesn't take a moment to sort of like give you a chance to take in what's just happened. And that's my main thing really. That's why it just drops down to I just wanted a bit more pacing, just to calm down and have a breather from the big gaps we have in between everything.
All right, and on the ladder of Marvel movies,
Number 1,
okay,
hands down, number 1.
All right, Lynn.
I clearly liked it a lot. I've seen it twice. The first time, it was like, it was just a ride. We actually, me and 21 of my friends actually rented out a whole gold class cinema to watch it ourselves. And like, it was great. We all gasped and cheered at the right moment. But that also means you missed some of the dialogues. It was overwhelming. And I went and watched it again second time. And yeah, it's great. It's a great movie. But, like Ethan said, I don't know if it's perfect. I don't think any movie is really perfect.
It's damn near perfect.
It is damn near perfect, yes. And I think the thing about this is the first Avengers movie that feels like a comic book crossover, where characters come in and out of scenes in like a very comic booky style. It just feels like Marvel doing a victory lap after 10 years of putting the hard work in, where you can just have like a teenager from Queens swinging into a scene and be like, hey, what's going on? And they just like do 2 lines and he's like, okay, cool. Let's do things.
Yeah.
I feel like the first Avengers and the second Avengers, like they still have that traditional movie thing where they meticulously introduce everybody and set up the threats. Here they're like, what's going on. Let's just get to the spicy bits.
Yeah, I mean, I think my initial reaction stands in that, yes, I feel the first half was a little rushed, but I at the same time I understand why. It's just a case of, Disney wasn't, and Marvel don't want people sitting in the cinema for 3 hours, and so I think a lot had to be cut. Well, and the Russo brothers have said a lot was cut. Expect a lot on the Blu-ray in the deleted scenes section. And that was just... But, having said that, how do you fit all those characters into 2.5 hours and still have a cohesive, enjoyable story? So, considering what they had to do, yeah, great stuff. But, of course, as a fan, there's a few scenes I would have liked to have seen sort of extended out a bit. In terms
definitely.
of on the ladder... for me, if you cast your mind back to your first kiss when you were a teenager, it probably was a really terrible kiss in hindsight, but it was also the first kiss, so it'll always stay with you, even though you've had better since. And I kind of feel that way with the original Avengers film, in that it was the first sort of time, and it's always going to have a very soft spot in my heart. And I think, as awesome as this film is and everything that comes together, I'm just not sure I'm ready to put it on the number one spot, really, and bump off the first Avengers film. Because it only had sort of 8 heroes or whatever, they were able to sort of have a slower build and all the rest of it. So, I don't know.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that, Toby. Because, this movie is probably better objectively, and technically, and it's so grandiose. But the first Avengers movie is such a tight little package, and it's so unproven. Like there is 1,000 ways it could have gone wrong, and they had to get it right the one way, and it got it right. So it holds a special place in my heart. Yeah,
and I think it's going to be very difficult for that to get. Dislodged, I guess, from pole position. But having said that, yeah, fantastic movie, one of the best. Alright, so if you haven't seen the film, now's the time to switch off. Go down to the cinema and watch it for yourself. Or if, on the conversely, I guess if you don't care about spoilers, we're about to dive into them. And what I just thought we would do is just sort of break it down scene by scene. I'm going to sort of move through them reasonably quickly because we don't have all the time in the world. But let's get cracking. Scene 1 is the Asgardian ship. We have the introduction of Thanos. The Hulk gets into a fist fight and is defeated for the first time in the MCU. Arguably, not including Iron Man knocking him out.
No, and there's a nice little detail in this scene as well, that the distress signal we hear at the start coming from the ship is actually voiced by Kenneth Branagh, who directed the first Thor movie.
Yep.
Okay. Then we see the death of Heimdall and then the death of Loki. So that's the important beats in this scene.
Yeah. And I'd say the Hulk one is as well, because we see that now it seems as though Hulk's scared.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, so Hulk is defeated. Yep, and then death of Heimdall, and then of course Heimdall sends Hulk off to Earth. But what you don't see is obviously Thor engaged in any fight in this scene. Like he starts down and beaten. We don't see Valkyrie or the other Asgardians.
Hog.
Who are supposed to. It has kind of, but in terms of this film alone, it wasn't dealt with.
Yeah.
So Heimdall's dead, and I'd say he's dead, obviously. Loki dead? I think so, but what do you think?
Yeah, I'd say he's dead.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see Baxies on that one.
No.
I mean,
he'll show up in 4. We've seen him in the things from 4, but that's because they're flashbacks.
Yeah, flashbacks.
But I don't think in any way he's going to come back now after this. I feel like having pretty much everyone Thor has cared about, all of his main supporting cast being gone, sort of gives him more of an incentive and adds to his character more, knowing that now that he's, he's alone and now he has to make his own family, which is sort of you get what I mean, sort of thing.
Yeah,
that's to his character.
Yeah, I think he's going to find a home with the Guardians, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, but I don't want to say that right now. Yeah.
All right, so scene 2, New York. Hulk arrives at the Sanctum in spectacular style. Tony and Pepper talk babies. Thanos is explained sort of at the Sanctum. It's just sort of a setup, as if you don't know who he is, you needed the exposition. Then the ship arrives. Spider-Man comes on the scene. There's a fight, and we see that the Hulk won't come out and play. It's a big scene. It's all New York. It's a big scene.
Yeah.
So my favorite thing about this is the Hulk arrival scene is pretty much frame to frame Silver Surfer arriving at the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a nice touch.
I actually do really like Ebony Moore out of the Black Order as well.
Squidward.
Yeah, I actually really like him. He seems sort of. The others seem to just be there for like brute force sort of a way, but he seems to be the intellectual one and actually thinks things through and has a proper plan of what to do.
And it's also.
I felt they gave him a bit more. Yeah, they gave him a bit more thought than the other members of the Black Order as well.
Yeah, he's by far the most characterized out of all the Black Order.
Yes. So the ship obviously plays havoc in downtown New York. Do you think you'll see that or a reference to that in any of the Netflix shows, which are all based in New York?
Well, here's also the thing. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is just aired today. There is a reference to that on that.
Yes, and Thanos and all the rest of it, yes. But I'm talking Netflix, mainly because the Netflix stuff is all based in New York. Do you think that this scene will have any form of impact?
I think just it's going to be a disappointing reference. Just, set your expectations low.
So it'll be a throwaway line that'll be, hey, did you see the ship in last week in the street?
Yeah, it'll be like that. That's all it'll be.
Okay. So Spider-Man, we get a... Go for it.
Yeah, I want to mention that Spider-Man arrival, though. That is one of the, that is my example of Marvel having done their homework, and when Spider-Man can just swing in, and he's like, hey, who's this dude? What's going on? And Tony's like, oh, he's here to steal a necklace from a wizard. And then that's it, right? That's it.
Great lines.
That's
Great
his
lines.
introduction.
And we got to see spider senses tingling on screen.
A bit more, yeah.
Yeah, which was nice.
That's just a comic book splash page, right? You can imagine it in your head.
Absolutely.
In a comic book. That's a splash page, and that's it, right?
Yeah. All right. The next scene is on the Guardians ship, and it's also a scene that was from the Comic-Con trailer and some of the first footage we actually saw of Infinity War. This is the scene where Thor meets the Guardians, and then we get a bunch more sort of exposition on what's happening, mainly from Gamora. And a few laughs as well.
Yeah, especially the talking between Thor and Star-Lord.
Yeah, with the deepening of the voice and imitation.
Thor imitating him and how he sort of... Star-Lord got jealous of how
Thor was
towards
No, I'm not.
Gamora.
Just the cut to this scene is a total change. I like that. Like, they cut to the Guardian scene and it has that Guardian tone immediately.
Yeah. Well, there's only 2 songs in the entire movie. There's only 2 songs, and if you look at the credits, there's 2, and this is one of them.
Yeah, the rubber band there.
And it's a great scene. It is a great scene, and it shows that because this is at least 2, 3, 4 years more since the last Guardians film.
It's about 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, Groot's obviously grown up.
Yep, and I also actually like how Mantis still seems a bit childish in a way as well.
Yes.
That's and especially with her when the star's dipping her voice and she's like, oh, he just did it again, sort of like ratting him out, sort of thing. It seems like they're gonna, as it established in the second Guardians, that she's kind of like a surrogate daughter to Drax in a way. Yeah. And it seems like they're still rolling with that, even for like the team. She's like another daughter to them all.
All right. So the next scene is pure flashback, and that's the Gamora. It's not a long scene, but we see her as a child. We see Thanos, wiping half of her species out, and the knife balancing scene. Was it really necessary? I guess. Obviously it has a payoff later in the film, and it sort of tries to build some emotional connection between the two.
I think that's all it is. It's just to show that Thanos isn't just there to just end things, that he has an emotional and somewhat vulnerable side, and that he does actually care about something, and that he doesn't just want to to kill half the universe or anything like that. I feel like it's just a setup for that. But
Yeah.
it also shows us he's had the Chitauri army that,
Yes.
this Avengers movie, and shows that Gamora and the first Guardians, that Thanos killed her whole family and everything like that. So it's just showing us those roots that have been planted in the movie for the past 10 years.
I think
It's giving a payoff to those as well.
I think it's also important in showing us that Thanos hasn't been sitting around this whole time, because that's pretty much all we've seen of Thanos so far in the movies.
Yeah.
Like, it's little flashback to accomplish that, hey, he's been like a terrible warlord for forever,
Yeah, it just hasn't been on our radar until now, yeah. Yep. Alright, the next scene is nowhere, and we've been here before in Guardians of the Galaxy. This is the head of a Eternal? Is it not? Celestial, my apologies, I get the two confused, yeah. And we see Thanos beating on the Collector. We then see Gamora apparently defeat Thanos before the whole thing is sort of revealed to be a farce through the use of the Reality Stone. And then Star-Lord attempts to fulfill his promise to kill Gamora if she's captured, but Thanos foils that as well.
Do you think that the Collector's dead?
Yes.
You reckon he's gone there?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. But I think it's an easy way out for Marvel. They can go either way, and it wouldn't really matter.
He could easily have because the thing is, when the reality peels back, there's no corpse. So he could have easily fled, and it was just purely. It really, I guess, it really depends if the character is useful in further storytelling. Like if he needs to be in Guardians 3 for a reason, then yeah.
I want to see him and Jeff Goldblum's Grandmaster.
A lot of people do. A lot of people do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then obviously, I mean, Gamora has a pretty emotional response to, apparently killing Thanos. Daughter Y, she breaks into tears again, trying to show that there's an emotional connection between the two. And then, of course, her and Star-Lord pretty much pledge their love to each other, which is, I think, the first time on screen they've both admitted to it. I was almost waiting for Star-Lord to do the Han Solo, I know kind of scene. You know what I mean? But they played it serious and not humorous, so that was fine.
I guess like the fact that I don't think they would have done the humorous thing for that because of the weight that carries further in the film.
Yeah.
So just having like a humorous thing, they might have taken the emotional weight of that scene away.
Yeah.
I mean, because this is their goodbye, really. Because we're in spoiler mode, right? This is the last time they see each other.
Yes. All right, next scene is Avengers HQ, where we have Captain and his team returning there for the first time to meet up with War Machine.
We skip over,
we skipped the...
You skipped over the stuff in Scotland with Vision and Wanda and the Black Order.
Oh, I did. Sorry, that was scene 4 before the Gamora flashback. My apologies. Yeah. So Witch and we see Scarlet, and Vision looking human, and then they're both attacked, and then they're saved by Captain and the team. Sorry about that one.
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, it doesn't really explain why Vision looks human, other than
I think he's just able to he made his clothes how he wanted. He put the cape on after seeing Thor, so I think he can just alter his appearance as he wants. So he just did that.
He got wrecked pretty hard early on too. Yeah. I mean, considering how powerful he was in Age of Ultron, he really struggled in this film. But then again, that weapon that skewers him, which in a very Aliens kind of scene.
Corvus Glaive's scepter spear.
Yeah, really made a mess of him, and he really didn't recover after that.
I feel like that maybe the reason why they should underpower is because he was away spending time with Scarlet Witch, so his whole guard was down. Yeah. So that's probably why he wasn't alert, ready for a fight, sort of thing.
All right, so cycling back. So now we're at the Avengers HQ. We see the General, Ross, and,
William Hurt.
Yeah, William Hurt. We see War Machine, all the rest of it, who's now got a court martial. I don't think he's beyond court martials at this point. I don't think he cares too much. No. And we see Banner and Black Widow reunited since Age of Ultron. Am I the only one who thought that scene was cut way too short?
Yeah. I feel like there's more to that because,
I would imagine when we hit the deleted scenes, I would fully expect an entire Widow Banner sub-story that didn't get told.
Oh, probably,
there's a scene in the trailer where Widow and Banner is talking in Wakanda Fields. I imagine that would be.
And Banner's working on the Hulkbuster arm at the same time as well.
Yeah, so I think there was a whole love story, because if you think about it, there's, apart from the Vision Witch element, there's no sort of any other kind of love story, and I guess they just didn't have room for a second love story, and I think it's probably on the editing floor, so to speak.
And I imagine they'll have more room to breathe in the next movie when there's less people.
But still, it did feel a little, even if they weren't going to touch on it too much, it did feel a little bit sort of short, where he just was like, hi,
Yes.
oh, hi, the end. Okay, a little bit more. Even another 30 seconds would have been nice, but anyway. So we have a very brief scene then at Wakanda, where Bucky, who's now being called the White Wolf, receives his new arm, and he sort of has these cool one line, "Where is the fight?"
My boy Buck.
Yeah, not much happening there, but it's we need to sort of get him ready for what's coming. The next scene, we jump back to the spaceship, and it's Spider-Man and Stark looking to rescue Doctor Strange, who's now being held prisoner on the ship. And we have Spider-Man referencing aliens.
Yep.
Which is kind of funny, because then James Cameron just like shat all over this film and Marvel. It's like,
I like Kevin Feige's response to that, which is super classy. He's like, James Cameron, watch our movies.
Yeah.
The next scene, we jump over to Thanos' ship, and we have a scene.
Oh, we missed a big thing with that. We got to see the Iron Spider legs.
Yes.
That's not a big thing. Yeah,
That's a big thing.
It's a big thing. I know. You were so keen for that scene, weren't you?
It just.
You know he's not going to be allowed to keep that. You know he's not going to be allowed to keep that suit, don't you?
I know.
You know he's going to go.
As much, but I'm still happy that. Well, of course he's not going to be able to keep this. I'm just happy that I got to see that though. When that popped out, I was just it was beautiful. Everything I dreamed of was there.
What I didn't like about that scene is just Spider-Man and Tony having full volume conversations like 10 feet above. I wish they put them in another room or something. That pulled me out a little bit. I'm like, guys, shut up.
No, Lynn, you don't understand. They're communicating through their helmets, you see, and you're just hearing what's inside their helmet. On the outside, there's no
their helmets were off.
Invisible space helmets.
No, here what it is. There's like soundproofing all around the ship.
Yeah, no, the Foley's cut out the engine noise. There was really a lot of engine noise, but you couldn't hear it. Yeah, that's what was going on. That's what it is. All right, moving on. Thanos' ship. Thanos speaks with Gamora. She tells him how she hates all of everything, like an typical teenager. We see Nebula, who's partially deconstructed, and then
that was an awesome scene. That how you see her front on, and everything looks normal.
Yeah, it reminded me of the Labyrinth.
That's fucking good.
Anyway.
Yes.
And then we have finally the Soul Stone location is revealed.
Yes.
But apart from that, I mean, it's a scene. I don't think there's a lot to be said. Again, it's showing more emotional tension between Gamora and Thanos. So, alright, so then we jump, let's see, we jump from Thanos' ship back to Thor, who is in the shuttle with Groot and the rabbit. Thor is retaining his losses, which is substantial at this point. He's pretty much got nothing now. He receives a new eye, which is an important thing. A lot of people sort of felt that this movie has almost undone everything that was done in Ragnarok.
It kind of has, but they kept in
Thor, you don't need a weapon. Now you need a weapon. Thor, you took your eye. Have an eye back. It almost undoes everything that sort of happens in that film. But anyway, we arrive at the Forge, and we're introduced to Peter Dinklage as the King of the Dwarves.
And that's some bad acting on his part.
Really?
I did not like the voice and everything. It just seemed like bad acting on him.
I really liked it.
I didn't like it. It was probably like one of the worst parts for me was his acting in that.
Yeah. Alright. So then we jump back to Thanos' ship for a short scene, but important one, where Nebula escapes her imprisonment and she messages the Guardians of the Galaxy. Obviously, this is what lets them know that they need to get to Titan. Yeah. So nothing huge there, but cool. The next scene, we jump back to our spaceship with Tony and Doctor Strange, and they're arguing over what to do next. They crash the ship on Titan, and followed up, there's a meeting with, Strange, Stark, and Spider-Man meet up with the Guardians for the first time.
It also gives us another Spidey sense because Spider-Man says that someone's coming. So obviously
Yes.
he senses that the Guardians are coming.
Don't lay your eggs in me.
I love
That
that.
was
I love that
hilarious.
scene where he's just crawling away, yelling, "Just don't let your eggs on me!"
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Everything about their meeting is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who do you
Right.
serve? You want me to say Jesus?
All right, so another quick shot. We jump back to the forge, and where a weapon is they're getting ready to make the weapon. So it's not made yet, but they're talking about, hey, look, this is what you need to do. And we see the mold for what's to come. Not a very long scene. Then we jump to Titan, and we have the discussions of a plan, which is a humorous scene. And then Doctor Strange looks into the future.
14,605 different futures.
Yep. And they succeed in one.
One. Which is obviously the one that we're
We're
seeing.
on. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. You really need to listen carefully to what Strange is saying in this film.
Yeah.
Because he's giving
Yeah.
away an awful
And I
lot.
think- and I think that's the reason why they gave Benedict the full script as well. Because they said that he needs to understand everything that's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. So
And
yeah,
when they say full script, I bet.
I'm sure he's read the fourth
Benedict
one.
Cumberbatch didn't know. Yeah, when this one ended and the next one began, I bet
It's
he
possible.
also had read the next page.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he's read all of the next one as well. Yeah. All right, so da. So the plan. All right, so we switch now to a pretty heavy scene, and that is Vormir.
Oh boy, this one.
This was the one scene where I think when we went and saw it, Ethan, this was the one scene where everyone in the audience went, "Oh my god, what the
Yeah,
hell?"
so I
Because
remember-
it was a lot of noise in the cinema.
Yeah, I remember hearing the voice, and I was thinking like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "This is a German accent." I'm like, "No way!" And then when it appears, I saw you and Lucas just get up and look at each other, and go, "Oh!"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
It was a pretty big scene. So Red Skull returns. I think it was a great inclusion. It was obviously a big question that had loomed over us since the first Avenger, and we'd all sort of wanted to know. I don't think it was a cop-out. I've heard a few people sort of say, "Oh, it's a bit of a cop-out. We wanted to see him come back as something and do more." But I think it was a perfectly good close to the Red Skull story arc. He got his comeuppance. He's cursed.
And he wasn't worthy. That's
Yeah, exactly.
fits him.
And then, of course, the big sort of impactful moment in this entire scene is Gamora is sacrificed by Thanos. And can I just say, all throughout this film, I was incredibly impressed with Brolin's acting.
Oh yeah.
And in no other scene more than any other, this one, it really shot. I mean, I had a huge... when he sheds the tear and everything, the dude's a psychopath, and yet I had this emotional connection, I could feel it.
The
It was
part
just
that
well
got me
acted.
was, as it after he throws her off, he looks at him, and his bottom lip's just like slowly quivering, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, it was the CGI was perfect. The fact that they
Yeah.
put that in was perfect.
Yeah,
the
the
tears
mocap
running
and
down his
everything.
face.
Yeah,
My heart was going like crazy at that scene, but it was
Yeah.
perfect.
yeah. No, it
Yeah,
was
that scene is great. And the actress who played Gamora as well, she hit all the notes she had to,
Yeah.
where she's like gloating at Thanos about how he's failing, and then her sudden realization, and then she tried to commit suicide then and there. She went through like 1,000 emotions in that
Yeah.
2 minutes and nailed every single one of them. That was great.
Yeah. No, it's a very emotional charge. It was really well done, and credit to both of them. So next scene is Wakanda. Captain and the team have arrived. A plan is put into action to save Vision by separating the stone from himself. And at the end of this scene, the enemy troops start arriving at Wakanda. So I mean,
You mean the Star Wars Episode 1?
I can't condone a course of action that would lead us to war.
I mean the whole thing, the shield barriers, all the troops with
Yeah.
the shields, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is like Star Wars.
Yeah,
It's also a lot of 40K as well, like with the drop pod and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing.
It's homages, though. It's homages, we call them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Okay, although, just lastly, that line, again, we see, what's the name of Black Panther's sister? You'll know.
Shuri.
Shuri, yeah, really sort of putting Banner to shame. Like, why didn't you think of this? Yeah.
I'm sure you did your best.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so then we move to back to the Forge, and Thor is now firing the Forge back up. It's just mainly a CG scene. It's got a bit of a laugh with the throwing the pot around and stuff, but yeah, nothing really to say there, I don't think. We jump back to Wakanda, and we have the beginnings of what's the equivalent of our epic Lord of the Rings battle / Game of Thrones battle, with troops starting to clash. Lots of CG. We jump back to the Forge, and the weapon is finally crafted. Groot uses his arm.
Do you think Groot's worthy? You think Groot's worthy of that?
We're not sure. We're not sure if Stormbreaker have the same enchantment yet.
I'm sure it does.
Well,
this is again. Sorry, go
Odin put it on manually.
Oh yeah,
That's
true. It's true.
Yeah, that is a good point. The other thing is, again, like this is a bit of a backsies, because if you sort of look at Ragnarok, when he doesn't have a hammer, and Odin says, it was never about a hammer. You're not the god of hammers, and you find the power within, and then he hits Hela with the lightning bolt of all lightning bolts. But now we're sort of in this film, we're back to, well, I need a weapon.
I think that's just because he thinks that he knows he's a weapon powerful enough of killing Thanos. I think it's just purely for that reason that he
I
just
agree,
needs it to kill Thanos.
But I can also understand where people are coming from in terms of sort of undoing a lot of what happened in Ragnarok.
They could have done one little thing to fix that complaint, which is show Thor use his lightning power before he get the weapon.
Yeah, that
would have been fine. Then you could have been like, hey, no, he was still powerful. He still have the lesson learned. He just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I agree. There's obviously a scene that was cut here too, because we've seen it in still images and in a bit in the trailer, where he's standing up holding presumably the weapon and sort of powering up.
Yeah, you see the lightning happening around Groot and Rocket in the trailer as well, and that wasn't in the scene.
Exactly. So, anyway.
And also the same scene of him looking up from the ground while you see the cameras, and you see him with the cape and everything while he's still in the Forge. So they cut that as well. Yeah.
We knew about the Groot arm though, because you'd read about that spoiler ages ago, I think, Ethan, and told us about
it was in a
months
toy.
ago. Yeah, it was in the Lego toys that got leaked in Russia months ago.
Right, there you go. All right, so then we jump back to Wakanda, and the battle is starting to really turn against our heroes at this point. However, Thor now arrives to save the day and just starts cleaning up large portions of the battlefield.
Can I say, though, about Thor's entrance getting those kind of cheers? I mean, you gotta give a lot of credits to Taika Waititi here, right? After Thor 1 and 2, like Thor in Avengers 1 and 2 as well, Thor, he had his moment, but he wasn't anybody's favorite Avengers.
No, apart from Lucas.
Yeah, Taika Waititi did a lot of legwork for him to have this entrance in the movie, and people are like, yeah, Thor's here.
Yeah. Not to take anything away from Chris Hemsworth either. I mean, one of the greatest things Taika did was to loosen the leash, so to speak, and let Chris be a bit more expressive in what he wanted to do. I think together they really brought that character.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right though. Absolutely. I mean, I would agree. Thor wasn't a huge fan favorite for me. After watching Ragnarok, the same thing. You're like, yes, he's here. He's gonna kick ass. Alright, anyway, okay, so Thor arrives, right, cool. So then we jump back to Titan. Tony and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, etc., the Guardians, are now fighting Thanos, or Thanos has now appeared. He reveals to us the original Titan. He shows us what it would look like, and obviously, for those that aren't familiar with the comics, you might have thought, why do all these people on Titan look like humans when Thanos looks like a purple ball sack? And that's because he has the deviant gene, which makes him look the way he does. Thanos sort of really explains his motivations at this point in terms of balancing the universe. I mean, we kind of knew, but he explains it in his own words. And then a fight breaks out, of course, and we almost get the glove off Thanos' hands. Almost. Except then Star-Lord loses his temper after learning the death of Gamora and pretty much fucks it up.
Which I don't know why Stark blames him, considering Stark did the exact same thing when he found out Bucky killed his parents.
What to say? I mean, this scene more than any other is probably why the character of Star-Lord, and not necessarily Chris Pratt, but the character of Star-Lord's getting a bit of a bum rap for this movie in terms of being a dick. There's a few scenes like this where he's just... I mean, look, at the end of the day, he's still a bit of a young punk in many regards, and it's just him being emotional.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about this, right?
Go
The
for it.
people who are giving Star-Lord crap about this, they need to realize that the theme of this movie is sacrifice, and none of the Avengers wanting to have a sacrifice. Like the whole theme is Thanos is a person who is prepared to sacrifice half of the universe for what he thinks is good, and none of the Avengers are willing to sacrifice one life for the greater good, right?
Yeah, which
And
is
that's
obviously
the whole-
going to come
yeah.
into play in the next movie in a big way. We'll get to that later.
Because
though.
if you really think about it, like this isn't just on Star-Lord. It's if Wanda killed Vision earlier, if Captain America went ahead with Vision plans to
Yes.
get killed, and if Doctor Strange destroyed his time stone. Like
Yes.
there's a lot of sacrifices people could have made that they didn't do that
Yes.
led to Thanos winning, right? And
Yes.
Star-Lord is just one of them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's a good fight scene. Again, it's very comic book. It's almost a bit like it's got the combo stuff that I loved from the earlier Avengers movies, where everybody chips in to help bring him down, and you sort of like as I'm watching it happen, I'm like yes, you're really getting that.
And another part with this is that Doctor Strange didn't stop Star-Lord from doing what he did.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yes.
because he knew what was going to happen. He also, how did he know when to create portals and where to place things for people to jump every single time? For Spider-Man to go through, for Star to go through. So obviously Doctor Strange has seen, he knows exactly everything that's happening at this point.
And I was watching it very closely the second time when everybody was yelling at Star-Lord to calm down.
Yeah,
not a
Strange did
single
nothing.
word from Doctor Strange.
No, nothing.
No, so it's all meant to be. It's all meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's keep moving. We're running out of time. So we now go back to Wakanda, and our heroes are continuing to fight in arguably the toughest battle of their lives. And Hulk still won't play, so we have that sort of banner fight scene, and he has to sort of do it on his own. So obviously this was going to be the scene where we had the Hulkbuster action figure with the Hulk bursting out.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. I wonder if we'll see that in a deleted scene.
I like that though. I like that that fake out that we were all that expecting that grand moment of the Hulk busting out, and it never came, and it reversed the Hulk Banner dynamic to like Banner going like, no, I don't want to Hulk out, to be Banner going like, come on Hulk, we gotta deal with our issues, like you gotta come out, buddy.
I think it's a good balance to Ragnarok as well, where you had a movie that was largely obviously dominated by Hulk with very little Banner, and we saw Hulk getting smarter. He can talk and he can think. In this film we've got Banner, who's a scientist who is now becoming more of the warrior and the brute and being able to fight and having to solve his own problems and be the hero. So I thought it was a good real counterweight to what we had seen in Ragnarok, and I was all for Banner being the hero, I guess.
Yes, and I think it's gonna pay off in full.
Yes, obviously they'll come to some sort of happy medium. So then we jump back to Titan, and this is where the battle has now come to a conclusion. I welled up with tears when I saw the blade or the shrapnel entering into Stark. I thought, here we go, this is it.
Oh,
I honestly thought
the
this
whole
was...
movie theater I was in, all I heard was gas and people being like,
Yeah.
oh, no.
Yeah, I honestly thought this was going to be the end, but it's not, and Strange saves Stark's life by giving Thanos the Time Stone.
And the thing with that is that Strange said on the ship that he would not skip a beat to sacrifice Spider-Man or Stark to save the stone.
Yeah.
And now he changed.
But this
I have a theory.
we all have a theory, but we're going to wait because it'll all tie together after we finish. Alright, so we jump back to Wakanda for the big final battle. Thanos arrives needing only the Mind Stone. The Avengers attempt to stop him to no avail. He pretty much brushes them all aside without much effort. Scarlet Witch destroys the Mind Stone and Vision, only to have it undone by Thanos, who then claims the Mind Stone for himself, killing Vision in the process. Thor staggers Thanos, nearly killing him, but it's not enough. Thanos clicks his fingers.
At that point, that click, I just sort of I got goosebumps at that point. I was like reclined back, I'm like, nah, I gotta sit up for this. He just snapped, something's gonna happen.
Yeah. So, we'll get to the aftermath in a moment, but this scene, I mean, this is your Avengers moment with everybody sort of charging him one at a time, oddly, rather than all at once.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have made any difference. By this stage, he's 5 stones. He's beyond anybody, really, other than Thor, obviously.
But then you ever look at Thanos as Cap's holding the gauntlet up? It actually looks like Thanos is struggling to push down on him. Like Cap's strength is actually like...
He also seems surprised.
Him.
He did, yeah. Yep.
And I mean, how strong is that Stormbreaker X? The fact that it went through a full beam from a 6-stone Infinity Gauntlet and still hit Thanos and decently went into his chest.
Yep. So I guess that validates, Thor's...
Thanos killing weapon theory.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, so the next scene is a little speculative, and it's assumed by many that to be inside the Soul Stone.
Here's the thing with that. It's been confirmed it is.
Alright, okay. It's a pretty pivotal... and the reason we need this scene is it's pretty important for, I think, what's going to come in the future. But Gamora is seen here again as a child, and she asks Thanos what it cost him, and he replies, everything. This, I think, more than anything, is just a setup scene for Avengers 4. Some really good acting on behalf of that young actress, too, because in that scene, if you watch it again, she conveys an awful lot of emotion in her face in that scene, and it comes like it's really well done. So, I'm not sure what her name was, but, I'm giving you the big thumbs up. Well done. Alright, next scene is both taking place at Wakanda and Titan at the same time. And this is where we see our heroes, as well as sort of Wakandan warriors and others, starting to turn to ash. Yeah. It's a very dramatic exit from Spider-Man. And our heroes have been defeated. There's a sort of final shot before, one of the last shots is the team sort of standing there looking very dejected, and Captain just sort of realizes, it impacts him, and he says, "Oh God." We cut to then to the final scene, which is Thanos sitting in a small hut. He still looks injured because he staggers as he's sort of moving through that, but he's obviously healed somewhat because he's no longer got a gaping hole or anything. And he sort of, it's a paradise. Now, it's assumed that this is Gamora's homeworld because it sort of references the fact that it was a paradise now when he speaks to her earlier in the film. And he sits down and it ends with him smiling.
And that's directly taken from the Infinity Gauntlet comic. It ends with Thanos after clicking his fingers on thing. Yeah.
Farmer Thanos.
Yeah. And also one thing, when the first trailer came out, one of the very first scenes in the very first trailer was Tony Stark sitting there with his hands over his face like he was at the... And I said then that I bet you that's going to be one of the last scenes in the movie. And I was right. Yeah. Because it's the first time we've lost in 10 years. Yeah. We've never lost, and now we've lost. Obviously, the first time you see people turning to ash, our cinema was just sort of largely dead quiet with a bit of sort of gasping and shock. I think it just... No one expected that, I don't think. Well, no, that's the thing. And in my 3 showings, it's been generally if there's a quiet scene in a movie, you still hear people shuffling, you hear little whispers, you hear things like that. In all 3 showings, the whole cinema was completely dead quiet. There was nothing. Yeah. At all.
During my second showing, there was a very loud fuck after Black Panther disappeared.
Alright, so then we have the end credits followed by an epilogue, and there's only one in this film, and it's essentially Nick Fury and Maria Hill in New York. Yep. And they're dialoguing. She's mentioning that there's action in Wakanda. There's a car accident in front of them. Maria goes to check it out. There's no one in there. She fades away to ash. Nick's like, oh shit, and runs off back to his car after we see a helicopter sort of spiral and crash into a building. And Nick grabs a heavily modified pager and activates it just as he's fading out to ash as well. And then
almost saying motherfucker in the process.
Yes, and then the camera pulls in tight on the pager and it reveals the Captain Marvel insignia. Fade to black. And so, talking about that particular scene, what it's telling you is, of course, again, we need to assume that maybe not everyone quite understood how extensive the damage is. This is not just half of Earth; it's half of the universe that is faded away here, and that means ramifications, on a universe level. So, yes, half of the human race is now gone. Now, the big question I have to ask is, And the Russo brothers and the script writers rather have said that they apologize to those running TV shows because how do you deal with this?
Yeah.
How do you put this into a Netflix show?
I think
Before I hand it over, I've got three quick hypotheses. One is the TV shows will simply skip over the event and they'll go, "Hey, wasn't it horrible how half the world vanished? But thank God we're back." Or two, they will just completely splinter off, and it's a totally different universe. I don't think you're going to touch on this in the Netflix universe at all.
I think my theory for it is that all the Netflix shows are going to take place before this.
Yeah.
That's how you fix it.
Yeah, and then you just never have to deal with it. Yeah.
So after Avengers 4, the TV shows can be like, all right, this is what happened. We can just ignore it, really.
Yes.
If they choose to retcon a whole bunch of the events in Avengers 4.
Yeah, because, I mean, already you've got the story penned for Daredevil 3.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure the story they're already filming Punisher 2.
Yep, they're filming Punisher 2, they're filming Daredevil 3, Luke Cage is already finished, and that comes out in June.
Yeah. So you were talking about...
Iron Fist is still filming at the moment as well.
Right. So even if they're going to deal with the Infinity War problem, you wouldn't even see it in Netflix until 2020 at the earliest.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is, I can't see you doing all right, let's look at Punisher. Half the Earth vanishes. Neat. He's not going to care.
No.
You know, how impactful is it going to be for most of the... Not that... I mean, Daredevil, okay, let's say Foggy fades away. I mean, you know, like, unless... It just... Yeah. It's not quite as impactful, because most of these shows standalone only have one or two sort of heroes in them anyway, so all you're talking about is removing loved ones, and you can only tell that story so many times before it becomes stale.
I don't think they just. I think they're just gonna skip over. I think Ethan is right. I think they're just gonna set all these the ones that are in the chamber before the movie, and then they will react to what Avengers 4 do to fix the situation in the next round of shows.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So speaking of what they're gonna do to fix it, there's a couple of little nods and tips and foreboding sort of comments. You know, one, of course, being Captain saying, you know, we don't trade lives. I think is a fairly large foreboding kind of... And as you brought up, you know, there's no sacrifices being made on this team. Also of interest, the survivors of this film are, by and large, the original Avenger team.
Yeah.
And I think what we're going to probably see is shenanigans. Yes, I think Doctor Strange is obviously got a plan. But I do think we're going to have some sacrifices, some lives traded, so to speak. And I'm still fully expecting, you know, Captain America to pass and Iron Man.
Yeah.
I think Tony is gone. I think I'm willing to bet anybody that Tony doesn't make it.
Oh, definitely. Well, if you've seen the set reports and for Avengers 4 and seen the behind the scenes thing and the casting for it, then you know that you kind of have an indication of some people who are going. Or I do anyway.
Are we going to talk about the time skip?
What, for Avengers 4?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
there's rumored to
there
be
was
like
a
a 5-year
casting
time
call.
skip, isn't it?
Yeah, because there was a casting call for a teenage version of Ant-Man's daughter. Yes.
Cassie Lang.
So,
However, having said that, it also appears that we may be dealing with time travel. So if we're skipping backwards, we may end up skipping forwards.
but my theory is Avengers 4 will start 5 years later. It'll pick up with Tony having gone half mad, coming up with solutions to reverse this whole thing, and we'll have like a good 20, 30, maybe not 30 minute, good 20 minute, overview of where all the heroes are at, how the world is changed. It might even touch upon the fact that, hey, maybe Thanos was right, maybe the world is actually kind of better, and then it'll kick into the plot to reverse it.
Well, then we also have the thing is, did everyone we see die? Because another theory is that they might have gone to a different reality, because he just says that he ceased to exist.
Yeah, we didn't touch on that. The prevailing theory, and it's just a theory, is that they've all been moved into the Soul Stone.
Yeah. Either that or moves to a different reality. Because I was searching out the powers of the stones, and apparently with the reality stone, when combined with the other 5 stones, it's able to affect reality on a universal level. So what if he's just moved into a different reality in that respect?
Yeah, I would imagine that the gauntlet and the stones are still bound by certain laws and rules, in that being like energy is constant in terms of you can't make or destroy energy, you only change its state.
Yeah.
Because if that was the case, you would just, like others have said, you would just use the gauntlet to make more resources, right? That's not the case. He can't do that. You can't create it. So therefore, I think it's more likely that the people, you haven't destroyed them, you've just altered them and you've moved them to a different plane, likely inside the Soul Stone. I only think that because obviously Gamora's in there, so.
And then you've also brings in, if it's into a different reality or a different realm, that also brings in Ant-Man and Doctor Strange's ability to manipulate quantum realm and Doctor Strange's ability to go to different realities and all that sort of things. Even if he's in the stone,
maybe they
the power to alter reality inside it.
Yeah, maybe they are able to get small enough that they can go inside the stone, sort of through those means.
That's a theory we've had.
Guess you're going to have to wait another, 345 days, or whatever it is. 358 days or something, like till the part 4 comes out.
Yep.
Can I run my tinfoil theory across you guys though?
Go for it.
I think if, and I rather think it's when rather than if, when this Fox merger go through and its time comes to introduce things like Galactus, I think it's going to be quite a simple reintroductions where they're going to say Thanos had knowledge of things like the Celestial Gardeners or Galactus, who would come and call people if there was an overpopulation, if there was, if the world is starting, if the universe is starting to expand out of check. And I think that's a very easy way for them to retcon and introduce those kind of tiers where they like researching the idea of Galactus because of something or other, and they would say like, oh, there's actually like one being who knew of the existence, and it's Thanos, and he just kind of never told people, But
you don't even need Fox for that, because I mean, isn't that what the Secret War is all about? Those beings that live outside of the universes that are like ultra powerful?
I'm just saying if they want Galactus.
Yeah, you definitely could change that to a Galactus, the character of, for sure. Yeah. Alright, well, that's a long one, but there was a lot to be said. I think for us now, it's really, in terms of Infinity War, it's a case of waiting for that Blu-ray and checking out all those extras, because I said, the Russo brothers have said there's going to be a lot of deleted stuff, so I'm keen to sort of see what we missed. But otherwise, next year, part 4, and of course, keep listening to the podcast. Ethan's always digging around for little nuggets, and as we find them, we'll let you know.
I found one right here that I'm going to tell you after the podcast.
All right, but if you've got some thoughts of your own Infinity War, if you've got some theories, if you've got some tinfoil hat, sort of wild, possible, possibilities, let us know, either on SoundCloud, Facebook, email, whatever you can find. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters. And we'll catch you next fortnight. Dun 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 dun.